Hello, 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 everybody. Sorry about that. Just a bit of a technical issue there. For some reason, it didn't want to go live. Anyway, hello, hello, welcome. Oh, I've got my name lights on. There we go. I knew I'd forgotten something. There we go. That's a bit better. I've got my big woolly jumpery, this is poncho, on today because it is freezing here at the moment. So, welcome to my Make With Me Monday. I have here some cardstock, some ink. I did put a list in the description below, so if you want to go and grab some supplies, go and grab your supplies now. We're going to be making a card using the Bokeh technique. Hi Jane, lovely to see you. So if you're not sure what the Bokeh technique is, then watch on. And if you know the Bokeh technique, you might go, oh, this is quite an easy way of doing it. So let us go hands down. There we go. And hopefully we've got lights on. Let's move this one over a little. This one over a lot. There we go. Okay, so I've picked my favourite colours today. Gorgeous Grape. And for ink pads, I've got Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. Now, if you only have one purple or one orange or one yellow or whatever, one green, you can just use one ink pad and I'll show you how to do that, how to do it with that as well. But I've decided to go for a range and see how we go. Now, my Daubers are not the right colour Daubers, but they're old, so they're dried out, so they'll be fine. So don't panic about the colours. Okay, so let me know in the comments if you've ever made a Bokeh card, and if so, what you thought about it and if you found it difficult or easy. If you don't have any Daubers but you have a stamp set which has got circles on it, you need to have solid circles, then they would be good as well. I tried to find a stamp set. I know I used to have one, but I can't find it, so I must have either sold it or got rid of it or done something with it. I don't know what I've done. But it's not in Packing and Palace, it's not on my shelves, so we're going to stick with Daubers. Hi Nola, hello, Happy New Year. Welcome. So we've got our piece here, and very simply we're going to use the Dauber and our ink pad to create some dots, which sounds easier than it is, just some random dots, but people sometimes get a bit hung up on being too perfectionist. But this is the Bokeh technique, so it doesn't really need, this is very uninky, doesn't need to be perfect. Oh, I definitely need a bit more ink in that ink pad. Hold on, bear with me. I now need to recolour my ink pad. Oh, we'll find a different one, but I'd like to use Gorgeous Grape if I can. Here we go. My ink pad's obviously dried out a little over Christmas. I didn't use Gorgeous Grape, I have to say, for my Christmas cards, so probably just needs a bit of rejuicing. So we'll just do that. Add a few extra drops of ink to it. Leave that for a moment, and then I'll get my little spatula, which is basically a plastic ice lolly stick. Let's give that a bit of a clean. It's got Pretty Peak on it at the moment. Did the same to that at the weekend. So you can see it's starting to soak in, but you can just give it a bit of helping hand by just moving your ink around, and it all disappears lovely like that. Okay, so that's all in. Then wipe off your ink. Now this is going to go very inky. This will be very juicy, so we'll just have to be light with it because I've just re-inked it. Okay, so let's try that again. So let me just bring this down back again so it's in field. You're rugged up. Wow, I'm rugged up. It must be cold there. Yes, it is cold here. It is, and it's miserly. It's horrible weather, Nola. It's nasty. So I've got my poncho on. Okay, here we go. So now, that's a bit better. We're just making little circles, basically. And the idea is that these are circular shapes made with your Dauber. They don't have to be perfect. The whole point of this is that it's not perfect. And then I'm just adding a few more around the place. That one's going to be quite light. Okay, I'm going to have some dark, and then we'll have some more dark, And as I say, it doesn't have to be perfect. The whole point is it's going to be random and messy looking. And I know a lot of you are going to go, I don't like messy looking, but that's fine. You'll get over it. You'll get there. Okay. Go back in and do some more over here. And with the Dauber, you can make them slightly bigger by just rolling it a little bit round, a little bit more. Okay. So a little bit of bigger sizes, but it'll all still end up being like circular. So I'll do that there. Bigger. Okay, and we're just going to keep going. Now the idea is that we will have some dark, and then we'll have some light, and then we'll have some different colours, and it'll go off the edge. So we'll just do this one off the edge. There we are. And then I'll just do another dark one here. And then purposefully some lighter ones. And some of them will cross over each other. Okay, so the whole idea is that you're just creating these random dots. Do a light one in there. Giving a bit of a squish, bit of a swizzle, just to get some texture going. This one over here. Okay, happy so far. If you're making along with me, hopefully you've got some random dots all over your cardstock now, which, you know, at this point you're probably thinking, God, that looks dreadful. What is she doing? But bear with me, it gets better, I promise. So next we're going to pick another colour. So in this case, I've got my Highland Heather. I think this is pretty dry as well, to be honest. See how this is going. Yeah, that's pretty dry. Also not great with that Dauber, I have to say. That's made that a bit yucky. Let's get a different one. Let's try this one. It's gone very yellowy. I don't know why. We'll have to cope with it though, because I can't get it off now. I could start again on the other side, but there we go. This is better. I wonder if it's the Dauber as well with the other one. Could be just a very old Dauber. That one we're just going to have to cope. I might add a bit of dark to it just to cover up. It's got a bit of yellow tinge going on there. Don't know why. Just do that. There we go. Must have had yellow on the Dauber at some point. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do this, and then we'll do this, cross over, cross under, you know what I mean? So it's front, behind, and you just keep going. Randomly, with less, more, different sizes. This is definitely the better Dauber out of the lot, I have to say. Yeah. And then let's see how the Fresh Voyager one's looking. Again, I think I'm going to change Daubers. Don't think I've got any new Daubers. Do not seem to have any new Daubers. Less of these. These. Oh, these are slightly less inky. Well, that's even a purple. Let's try one of these. Okay, here we go. Let's try one of these. Yes, that's better. Dark, light, very light in that case. Okay. Yeah, this would have been better if the gorgeous great one had been a better sponge. This is definitely more how it should be. I might actually start again, but use this as an example of how it shouldn't look, if you know what I mean, but just as a tester to try it out. See what I mean? I'm going to swap out my Dauber for a more squishy one. Let's try this again. Okay, I'm going to start with another Dauber, but you get the idea of what we're trying to do here. I'm going to test this on this one, see what it's like. See what it's like. Well, that's much better. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Actually, I wonder if I can save this one. I might be able to just cover up these. Oh yeah, this is working better. Yeah, it's getting them more solid. It's the solidness that I was really after. Of the image. Okay. Let's get in there. Okay, that's looking a bit better. So we just keep going until we've covered our entire piece with ink spots, like so. And it's sort of looking Bokeh-ish at this point. And Bokeh just means it's a word that describes the refraction of light in a particular way. So I just want to fill up the rest of this. I'm going to fill it up with light, I think. I want to make it quite light. You can have some space, but it's nice to have a bit more colour on the edges. These edges are not. This one's still looking weird in the middle there. I really don't like that one, but we'll do something with that. Not quite sure what, but we will sort it somehow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, kind of like that. Okay, so that's kind of how you do your background, but I really don't like this one, so I can't use it for this particular technique or for this particular card that I designed, but we'll use it for a different one in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go back in, okay, get rid of that one, get rid of that one and that one, try and work out which one of these I used for Highland Heather that worked well. I think it was this one. Highland Heather, and then Gorgeous Grape. I'm just going to do that again a bit quicker. Okay, so now we know that this is working. And my problem is not being random, so it's really hard to be random. You just have to sort of force yourself. This is much better. So you can come back in and go over again on one that's a bit more wishy-washy if you want to make it a bit light, a bit harder, a bit darker. Okay. And now I'll start crossing over. That side. This side. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is definitely better. Okay. Now I'm going to add some dark ones, but I don't want too many in the centre. So I'll put a few, but not too many. Okay. Might cross over a couple. Put some at the edges. Put one about there-ish. Like so. Okay. And then more light ones. And you can see as you start doing it and building it up more, you're getting that depth of field because you've got the multiple layers of the inks going on. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see it. It's looking a little bit more 3D. Night, Nola. She says it's getting late over there. Yes, over in Australia it'll be late for you guys, I know. It's lovely to see you on here though. So we'll just keep going. I might come back in a minute and do some more Highland Heather. So hopefully you're following along with this if you're making with me. If not, you can always watch it again on replay and make it along with me. Okay, so now we've got those. I'm going to add a few more. We need something because this dark is really dark, right? So we're going to go, let's see, a bit more here. We can make the Highland Heather ones just slightly darker by just going over them a little bit more. Just adding a little bit more ink to them so they're a little bit more obvious. And then they're sort of blending in those darker ones a bit better. Now I could do some gorgeous grape stamped off as well. That would also work. So I might try that in a second. Where do I want this one? Maybe over here. And then a lighter one there at the edge. So if I can get myself some scrap paper, which I don't know what I've done with my scrap paper. It seems to be just, seems to have wandered off. So I'm just going to get a piece of card and just stamp off. And then we can do some lighter ones of these. Not too light. It's still this, but a little bit lighter. And they will lighten up a bit when they... it's because it's very inky. When they lighten up as they dry. That's the word I was looking for. Okay. So we'll do that. Okay, so that now is your bokeh technique as far as it goes. But what you can do is you can lighten some of these up even more, just a little bit more, with either a white ink, although that's tricky because by the time you put it down it'll pick up some colour and it might go different colour. And also it takes a long time to dry. Or you can use pan pastels. So pan pastels is just a very powdery, it's like makeup basically. You know how, like a powder, face powder. But it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very opaque. So if I put that on top of that now, you'll see it covers up the purple beautifully. Okay, so you're just going to add a few of those, which will just cover up the that purple a little bit. And that's just bringing in those lighter tones just a little bit, because it's just nice to be able to have a little bit to dampen down some of that purple. I'll do one over here, I think, as well. So it looks a bit more like that light hitting it, so they're not quite so harsh. Now it's like a chalky substance, so some of it will brush off, so just be aware of that. But they work pretty well to just give you that top layer of light against the darkness. And they'll show up even on the lighter colours a little, not very much, but just enough to give you that sort of two-tone look. Okay, so we've added a few little pan pastels, like so. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add the rest of the card, which is basically just a couple of extra things. It's not a very long card. So here I have the word celebrate, which I'm going to put in the middle of this card. And I'm going to do that in the dark, gorgeous grape ink, because then it will really show up. So we're going to pop celebrate on there. Oh, it's very juicy because I've just re-inked it. So let me just see how we're doing here. Don't want it too bubbly. Okay. All right. So now we're going to put Celebrate across the middle there, like so. See how that just shines through the colours underneath it because it's nice and dark, and it just picks that up lovely. And then I thought we should just add a few little extra touches. So I've got some gorgeous grape cardstock here, and I've got my little banner punch, and I quite like these little banners at the bottom here. And I think they'll be good to just sort of highlight the card a little. So it doesn't have to have jewels or anything on it. You can highlight it just like this. And I thought I would just pop a couple of little tags. Might even cut them down a bit. Might even cut them down a smidge. Make them smaller. Pop one there. And then pop one coming in on the other side. I might have them literally coming in from the edges. So I'll just take this one off a smidge. Slightly different sizes, that's fine. And if I didn't cut them quite straight, it doesn't matter, because we can just trim them once they're on the card, match it up to the cardstock, and it will work perfectly. We'll do that there. That one's coming in like so, and yet it's not quite straight, but that's all right. We'll trim that off. And then this one here. And come in, yeah, probably about the same height as that, going over that little bit there. Make sure they are horizontal. Yeah. Blow off your spare pan pastels. Looks all right. That one's just got a little edge there that can come off. Just a little edge there that can come off. There we go. And then all you have to do is pop it onto a card base, and that's your card done. How quick is that? And that relates to all the cards that we've done this month, because we are looking at how to make cards quickly because you don't have very... That's not folding properly. Maybe it goes... No, it should be that way. Well, that's not folding down. It's already been folded in my stash, I think, at one point, and maybe got folded the other way around as again. So we're looking at quick cards today, and all month. How to make cards when you don't have a lot of time. Maybe when you are looking after somebody else and you need something to just give your head a bit of space. You need to have some kind of creativity, but you don't have the... oh, look at that. I managed to get... How did I get a fingerprint all over that? Oh, well, I'll have to turn it over now. Oh, it's come off the back there. Rats. Okay. I would normally do it on paper, but I don't know what I've done with the grid paper. Right, so that's going on there. It's a big margin, this one. Let's just clean that off. Because otherwise I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it all over myself and all over the card in places I don't want it to be. There we go. And that's now a little quick card. You could have it for a thank you card, you could have it for a celebrate card, you could have it for a birthday card, anything really. And that's it. Nice little bokeh technique. You can see hopefully the depth of field that we're getting there and the circly bits. And it looks like light refracting. You're looking through the light, like raindrops or something like that. And you can do it in any colour you like. So you could grab your, as I say, your pinks, your purples, your blues, your greens, your reds, your yellows, oranges, browns, any kind of colour you like. And if you only have one ink pad, you can do it as I've shown you, with dark and then stamped off and then stamped off again, you know, so three generations of daubing, that works too. And if you don't have a circle dauber but you've got a circle stamp, then it works perfectly with those as well. So if you want to learn more about quick and easy cards, then jump over to the Academy. We have a lot of that there, and also my foundation course, because we've got stuff in the foundation course which is great for beginners and quick and easy stuff. But the Academy, we've spent the whole month looking at time management, organisation, overwhelm, using your stash, how to do some quick and easy cards that you can prepare beforehand so that they're easy for you to then just pick up and run with. So there you go. Next time I'll be back in February, first Monday of the month, and we'll be talking all things vintage and collaging. So I look forward to seeing you then. Hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you have, and I will see you again soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.